Okay, so we've got our new tire, brand new, in this case Conti Attack, Road Attack, very nice, very pristine. You'll notice when I was telling you tires, and I apologize for the lighting, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but tires have directional rotation that's specific to how they're supposed to be mounted. So you can see the little arrow there says that's the direction that the tire needs to spin when you're rolling down the road. You remember our first thing we did was with our Sharpie, I put a little mark that says this is the way the tire spins. So going down the road, the tire is normally spinning this way. Sometimes on tires too, you don't have to mark that. If you know, for instance, on this one, on the R1100 RT, has ABS, and there's a little variegated thing that the ABS eye tracks, and that's only on the left side of the bike. So I know, even without the arrow, that this tire normally spins this way, or clockwise as I'm looking down on the stand. So I look at my tire, I see which way it should spin. Looks like this way is clockwise. Yep, arrow's pointing this way, so the tire is going to go on this way. I'm going to take my close-up tire changer. I'm going to lube the tire up real well with some furniture polish. I'm going to take it with my hand and kind of work that so it's on the inside of the tire as well as on the outside. I've had this tire sitting out in the sun for about an hour now, so it's nice and warm and pliable. And usually if you do this just right, put the tire on and you just kind of give it a bit of a horse, and it'll pop right on the first beat. That's the easy part. And now is where we separate the men from the boys. So the first thing we have to do is we have to lube up top side of the tire. Don't be afraid to use a fair amount of lube, because nothing sucks more than having a tire get stuck halfway when you're trying to mount it. So have that. I'm going to ride, clean the goop off my hands. That was a good thing to keep around. Now, one of the issues you're going to run into when you mount a tire is that as you work around, the bead opposite where you're working from, say I decide to work in this direction, which is what I usually do, I go clockwise, the bead over here will start to walk off the rim. It'll come undone. So to prevent that from happening, again, if you have a handy assistant who can hold the tire for you, that's very nice. What I like to do is I take a C-clamp, ordinary C-clamp, my piece of junk leather again, and I'm basically going to push the tire over the bead, just kind of enough to hold it in place there. I'm going to take my junk leather, and we can put him, my C-clamp, on, and I'm just going to tighten him up a little bit. And with the leather on, he won't scar the rim, but more importantly, he'll keep that bead from walking on me. So the next thing is, you've got your Harbor Freight version. You can do what I did and basically take a little bit of a shampoo bottle. I don't know if you can see this. Again, I apologize for the poor lighting. But it's a shampoo bottle piece with a couple of holes punched in it, and it's zip tied. You can see the zip tie on the back here. Basically to hold it on. That keeps it from scarring the rim. So put our center bar in place. We're going to pivot it. We get that kind of out to where we like it. Take a tire iron, which is a handy tool to have. Just going to pop the bead gently up over on top of the rim of the Harbor Freight machine. Advance this a little bit, and you can see it's kind of working. Now, you can kind of do this by hand, or you can use clamps. Again, I'm basically pushing the bead of the tire as deep down into the well of the rim as I can to give myself enough slack to get around the tire. And some tires will let you do that Sometimes you have to use a clamp, sometimes little pieces of wood, but usually if you do it right, whoop, one tire mounted.